Yo guys, so we're talking about another massive Bitcoin correction, okay, or pullback. It's easy to kind of say bullshit when you have Bitcoin going from 81,000 to 92,000 in a couple of days. And this kind of quick, fast, bullish momentum is normally what traps a lot of new traders, new investors, and because it does excite the market somewhat. Okay, so let me explain to you guys why I think it's the opposite, and then we'll take it there. So I've got Bitcoin here on the 4-hour time frame, and just for everybody's sake, let's do a quick recap on the setups that I shared with you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up my screen. And so this is for the last 2 weeks, or the whole of last month and a half, actually, not 2 weeks, more than that. So we wanted to go long, which failed. Okay. So we went short with the idea that this is the TP. Okay. And then we wanted to go along again, and we didn't get our entry full. And then I added to my short with the argument that I still want to trade to this direction over here. So we've got 2 winning trades now for the last month in the Trade for a Living podcast. And then I said, well, we need to go long. And when we got to this point, I basically threw a couple of caution signs your way, explaining that if it's so fast, it won't last, and expect price to come right back down. And we went short again. And when we got to these levels at 81, I screamed long, and we're long again. Okay, so from an analysis point of view, we've been going up and down, chopping a lot. So I saw an interesting meme with you guys, and say, well, you've got a bull market, okay, when something's really bullish, and you've got a bear market, but then you've got a kangaroo market. And I think that's what we've been experiencing in a way. You know, everything has just been bobbling up and down, bouncing. So we're dealing with a kangaroo market of such. So let's talk about this massive correction that I'm seeing or trying to plan for, knowing fair well that I don't have a crystal ball, guys. I don't know how the market's going to play out into the future. I try and trade all eventualities, because as a trader, I don't have to pick sides. Investor needs to pick sides and act accordingly. But traders, what we can do is we can just because I feel bullish doesn't mean that I can't short the market right now. As simple as that. Okay, so let's have a look at the analysis in a bigger picture. Or I just want to show a few things before we actually start with the analysis. And the easiest way to do that is to say that the market has a way in the way that it moves. So when we look at the market and its movement in general, the market has a way to do the following things. It wants to fill gaps. Okay, so when we have a breakout, the market wants to go and revisit those highs. So we normally bounce on the previous wicks. Typical like that. So if that is the case where we are now, we need a scenario where the market, remember this is still Bitcoin 4-hour, needs to go and bounce on the previous wicks. There's no guarantee in this instance, but it still opens the door that 71,000, 73,000 thereabout needs to get tested still. And that means that this entire fast move for Bitcoin on the weekly still needs to go get reabsorbed and then reaccumulated before we can move on. Now, how a reaccumulation pattern works is for when we get there. But for now, I want to talk to you guys about the distribution of such. Okay, because I'm playing the narrative that there's a massive pullback. Now, what do I have to support that? Well, the analysis that we've been using up till now is on the basis that because we broke our trend for Bitcoin, okay, this uptrend, this trend within range and now moving forward, and that we've been in a bearish trend since January, okay, that I want to see this trend continue indefinitely until we hit some sort of an imbalance, which we've now hit 2 times, okay, and build a base, meaning I want to see more kangaroo market sideways, okay, and we haven't had that yet. So that is what I'm looking for. Now, what do I mean by that, or how we going to navigate that? Well, simple, okay. If I look at this whole analysis now, or this whole analysis of what I have, why I want to short this area, it's on the basis that if this is the upper end of the range, meaning when did our divergence form, which is normally the way that I would define a upper end of the range, meaning Price goes and makes a higher high, but the RSI doesn't. Okay, so there you have it. Price made a higher high, the RSI did not do that. So there's your strong bearish divergence. Okay, that's the upper end of the range. Okay, so from that point onwards, we were struggling, okay, to go make higher highs. We did one. Oh, we'll look at that now. Okay, and then the lower end of the range, I typically then would define in a similar way by saying I'm looking for hidden bullish divergence or strong bullish divergence for the wave. So what do we have? We've got a low there and we've got a lower low there, okay, meaning that price is testing some sort of a range low, and then the RSI is doing the opposite. Okay, so then I have the bottom end of the range defined. Okay, now shakeouts occur, and when we look at the distribution, you have your upthrust after distribution, and your sign of strength or sign of weakness depends on how the pattern plays out. And those kind of patterns or analysis normally then moves in here. So there's your up thrust after distribution. So I can start making, or let this look like a true Wyckoff pattern, that being phase A, this being phase B, and then this being phase D, which is trend within range. Remember now, if I put on the analysis, we were trending within the upper and the lower end of the range. Okay, so everything still makes sense for the distribution pattern at this stage. Okay, now Wyckoff gives you a big warning, guys. It's almost dangerous to label distribution patterns and accumulation patterns until they break out in the directions, because you don't really know, because a distribution and an accumulation pattern, if you really zoom in on them, they look very much the same. It's all speculative up until you see the trend. Okay, so clearly there's a trend and it's a bearish trend. Okay, so let's switch off that analysis again, and I want to point out something else. That's the reason I want to go short again. Okay, if this is the case now, which is now made with you guys, we've got an upper end, we've got a lower end. What are we doing now? We broke out of that range, and now we're testing whether that resistance, let's change the label of this area, whether this resistance now, because remember it was support, okay, as long as price tried to stay above it, it was support. But now we've lost it. So it is now resistance. So the question is, are we going long at resistance or should we go short at resistance? Simple as that. So the question is this going to be the sign of weakness that we had with a continuation for the flush for a lower low? And that's the simplest way to try and define why I think it's wise to go short. Now, zooming in on this a little bit more, okay? There's nothing at this stage that signals that this wave is over, other than the fact that there is resistance levels around these ranges, okay? Which means I'm going to look to go short here. I don't want to see a higher high, because as soon as it's a higher high, everybody changes their narrative to being bullish, okay? And so for me, that's the play that I'm going to try and look for. Okay? I'm going to look to try and go short in that area with the argument that I'm trying to trade this back. So it's a nice 20% trade, okay, with a 4% risk. So it's a big time frame. So you're going to have to do your work and zoom into this zone and apply whatever trade strategy you have to narrow down your invalidation. But for the essence, once this trend breaks, we're going to see this price action come down quite violently. And that's what I'm betting on for the short. Okay, so there's the new direction, the new setup with you guys. Over to the comments. Let's see what you guys are on about. Hello, Chris. Hello, Stanku. Long time no see. Yes, where have you been, Mr. YouTube user? Because I've been here daily. What do you think? Are we in the bear market? Stanku? The thing is, with are we in a bear market, is really premature, because as soon as we go weekly time frames, it changes the whole perception or perception of what we have. Because if I were to zoom out, and we can use the 4 hour for this, from a weekly time frame, one can argue that there's strong bearish divergence between these highs, okay? But you know the rule. As long as we stay above 73, It's just a natural, healthy correction that we need for the continuation of the longer term bull market. Okay. With the alts bottoming out as well, somewhat, it's also something that I would just keep in the back of mind. So, can I say bear market? No. But if we fall below 73 and we start moving into the 60s, it really starts supporting the argument that things are going to get shitty. Okay. But until then, let's not try and predict too far ahead, because that is really not benefiting anybody. It's about making money, and you make money now. You don't make money into the future. You plan now because you have to work with the candles and the information that you have now. Okay, so there you have everything, guys. Hope it is as simple and as clear as I could possibly make it. Now, if you want to have a little bit more data, okay, you want to see what would be my setup within this area, okay? And you want to use some of my tools like the buddy indicator that basically gives you, it's simple, you enter between the lines, between the purple lines, you take profit on the green lines. You want those kind of tools to help you navigate the market. All you need to do is open your Blofin account today. I've got a promotion running with that. Head over to the Discord, okay? Very simple. Click on the promotion button and follow those steps. This is everything that gets included into you opening your Blofin account today. And then you can claim your 6 months access or your 90 days access to my private group where I trade live with the guys. Okay, so this is where I share my setups in greater detail. Sorry, that's the public side. This is where I share the setups in greater detail. Comes with video analysis and so forth and so forth. So it can definitely up your trading game and help you trade for a living. As simple as that. Okay. So take advantage of that. Or alternatively, what you can do is you can subscribe once off. Okay. I changed it into a once off payment. I see Dion is here on the group saying he wants to have a monthly. Dion, the thing that I found over the years is I start working with guys. And so they sign up for a $75 monthly subscription or something like that. Then they have a shitty month trading, because I think immediately if you sign up, it's just guaranteed everything that I'm going to do or say is not going to fail. So they mess up their risk reward ratio, or they still need to learn about it. And there's various levels of people subscribing where they are in their trading journey. And then because they took a knock, now next month they don't necessarily have money for their subscription. And then they leave. So while I'm building a relationship with the guys, while I'm working with them, trying to help develop you into a trader, that mentorship that everybody looks for, while that happens, all of a sudden your money runs out and then you leave. And per the conditions, I have to then throw you out and turn my back on you. That doesn't seem fair. So it's a once-off payment. Your access forever. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with subscriptions. It doesn't work. I want to build a relationship and help somebody become a profitable trader. And the serious guy will sign up and take advantage of this so that you can be part of the community. Or alternatively, if you can't, like I always say, I always give a second option. Use the channel partners to gain access. Simple as that. Right, guys, you have a lovely day. Thanks so much for taking time with me. This afternoon, I will do a HODL stream, because we need to talk about this Dixie that is dumping quite hard, okay? And then we need to be looking at our Ethereum and all these other coins, because, yeah, Dixie's dumping, ETH's not pumping. I've had that question actually asked a couple of times, okay? The rebalance for Cardano is working nicely, so if you sold, it went to that area, you should have bought right back, those kind of things. And then obviously we need to talk about Solana, which doesn't look as great as Cardano at this stage, and obviously XRP, which is still below that thou shall not cross line, that bearish line, So, what's the market going to do? So if Bitcoin goes to 71, these coins will probably dump really hard. And if Bitcoin rallies and breaks through, makes a higher high, these kind of things changes the perspective. So as more candles print, as always, the information changes. That's why we do these things daily, guys. So thanks so much for taking the time. Do me a solid if you're new to the channel. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if the content's helpful. Join my Discord in any case, because there is a public area where you can come and ask questions. Charts like these do get posted in the public section, so you can go and have a look at the records of all the setups that I share with you guys, the formal setups that I share. So you can go and look at that. You can go into that. You can comment and ask questions if there's anything you want to do. And then for the rest of you guys, that's it. That's everything I think I needed to say. So thanks so much for taking the time. You have a lovely day, and I'll be seeing you a little bit later this afternoon. Cheers.